Welcome to the 2018 Student Teacher Achievement Recognition Luncheon. My name is Mercedes Meyer. I'm the Communications Coordinator for the district. We are delighted that you could join us today to celebrate these outstanding students and teachers. Today, we are honoring seniors in the top 2% of their classes and teachers who have most impacted their lives. At this time, I will ask Superintendent Dr. Marcelo Cavazos to come forward and say a few words.
So I know this is one of many events that you have this time of year, but thank you for joining us today. I think it's important that we reflect on two things: the achievement, the great achievement that is in this room by our young people, but also the impact that teachers and other employees have had on their achievement. And we know that today, the students here represent thousands of students in our school system. And the teachers here and the employees represent thousands of employees in our system. And we know that every day in schools, there are relationships between students and teachers and employees that help really transform a young person's life and really in that path of success. So today, yes, we're honoring you and the teacher that you selected, but you're also being representing the thousands of students and teachers in our school system. Because this relationship is special, and you've realized, and through this event, hope you realize even more, the fact that you as a student don't do anything alone. You need a strong support system from your parents, your family, your community, and yes, your teachers. And so to all the teachers and employees here, and I keep using that because we may have counselors and other employees, but to all the employees of AISD that are represented here today, can we please give them a round of applause? And I'll share with you what I share with new teachers. In fact, when we hire new teachers and we come at the beginning of the year, it's in this room, and every year, we have about 400 new teachers in our school system. That's how big our system is. And what I share with new teachers, and you're a demonstration of this today, I share with new teachers that in every opportunity in terms of the classroom, they will have the opportunity to be the teacher that students remember as having the best and most impact on their lives. And many times in education, when we go through our programs or through staff development and things like that, we reflect back and we think of that one teacher that made the biggest difference in our lives. And we can all think of that teacher. Sometimes the flip side is true also. We can also think of that one teacher that didn't have an impact, in fact, maybe had a negative impact for whatever reason. So what I encourage the new teachers, and you today are the example, I encourage the new teachers to be the teachers that leave that positive, outstanding impression on young people's lives. It's in every one of us to be able to be that teacher. And today, you, the teachers here today, demonstrate that that is possible, that you can have the biggest influence. Students, the last thing I'll say is that you should be commended for your outstanding performance in our school system. You should also have a strong sense of joy. The fact that you're almost out, that should give you the most joy. But you should have some joy that you've traveled this journey. While it's not perfect, none is. You've traveled this journey in a very, very special way. And you, a small group of you, have the opportunity to do something very important today, and that is to honor a teacher or an employee who's made a difference in your life. And very rarely do teachers have this kind of opportunity where we stop, pause, even though it's this time of year, and honor them in this special way. So students, thank you for being outstanding students. Thank you for honoring the teachers that have a big impact on your life. So on behalf of our school district, congratulations. I would like to introduce the board members that are able to join us here today. Ms. Polly Walton. And then I'll invite up our board vice president, Mr. John Hibbs.
Exciting day. We've got so many wonderful things we're going to be inviting and recognizing some of our very first seniors from our early college high school. So we're really excited about that. That's going to be a new addition to today. When I look around this room, I think about, we've got over 63,000 students in the AISD. 63,000 students. And we have over 8,000 employees. And each one of them are educators in their own right. And you look at this room. We've got counselors from all of our high schools. And can we give a hand to our counselors? I mean, all of our... They do such an amazing job in preparing our children. They are life changers in their own right. And they do it for the entirety of our district. And without our counselors, I just can tell you, our schools wouldn't be where they are today. But we have 85 students, 85 scholars, 85 students that have invested their lives within our school system. And they were able to pick and choose who are the ones that have been so impactful in their life. So for the 85 teachers, administrators, counselors, whatever your role is in our district, I just want to share to you from the board and on behalf of our president, Aaron Reich, who's not able to be here this morning, but from a Board of Trustees point of view, thank you for making such a valuable impact in on these 85 students that we're recognizing today. And it's so fitting that you be recognized with it. But realize with every one of those 85 students, multiply that about 100 times of the impact that you're having on all the other students within our district. There is going to be one day, many of you guys know a person of faith, I truly believe you're going to be standing in heaven and you're probably going to have a group of people waiting in line just to say thank you. Thank you because I am a life that was changed because of you. For our students, congratulations. May this be an opportunity to launch you on your career path. You've been prepared. Our district has worked very, very hard and invested in each one of you so that you will have a lifetime of success. We just want to wish you well and thank you again for being part of the AISD.
All right, first I'd like to thank the AISD Communications Department for providing this opportunity, along with the help from all the high school counselors, to recognize these outstanding students and teachers. So I would the first student I'd like to introduce is the first salutatorian in the history of Arlington Collegiate High School, Ms. Adora Rosa Ekong. Ida will be attending the University of Texas at Arlington in the fall, majoring biology with a minor in African American studies. 3 words that describe her are joyful, exuberant, and a leader. The teacher she would like to recognize is Mr. Gerald Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez teaches Algebra 2 at ACHS, and this is what Ida had to say about him. Mr. Gonzalez has been with me since I began my journey into high school and is invested in my success ever since. Math was one of my weakest subjects until I took his class, for he brought out the best in me and gave me the confidence I needed to become the leader that I am today. Next, I would like to introduce the first valedictorian in the history of ACHS, Esteban Hurtado. Esteban will be attending Texas Christian University in the fall, majoring in neuroscience. He describes himself as mature, motivated, and cheerful. The teacher he would like to recognize is Milken Award-winning teacher Jennifer Fuller. Ms. Fuller teaches dual-credit English at ACHS, and this is what Esteban had to say about her. Ms. Fuller has always believed in me and has pushed me to be the best student and person I could be. She has been very helpful and cheerful during the 4 years I have known her. Congratulations to these students and teachers.
First up, we have Shelby Algram, who plans on attending Lubbock Christian University. She plans to major in humanities. And her 3 words that describe her are outgoing, perfectionist, and blessed. She brought with her today her pre-cal teacher, Miss Jean Graham. And she said about Mrs. Graham, every time I walked into her class, I felt welcomed. I was lucky enough to have Mrs. Graham for 2 years, and she made my love for math grow even more. Mrs. Graham was so much more than just a teacher to me. She was someone I knew I could always count on. Having Mrs. Graham was such a blessing and helped make my experience at AHS great. Next up, we have Gabrielle Cano, and she will be attending Southwestern University and majoring in chemistry. 3 words that describe her are motivated, dependable, and reflective. And she brought with her journalism teacher, Miss Emily Miller. And she says, Miss Miller's classroom has been a home for me at Arlington High School over the past 4 years. She is great at building relationships with her students and genuinely cares about things happening in our lives. Miss Miller treats us like we are her own children and even makes a treat for every publication student's birthday. She takes the time to listen and is invested in helping every one of her students to be the absolute best they can be. Miss Miller. Next up, we have Taryn Cates, who will be attending Houston Baptist University, where she'll be majoring in pre-med. 3 words that describe her are outgoing, involved, and driven. She brought with her engineering teacher, Mr. Miguel Picard, and she says about him that Mr. Picard represents the teachers that every student wishes they could have. He's the perfect balance of teaching and allowing students to enjoy engineering. He's able to joke around with students while teaching in fun ways. He's personal with his students and truly cares about student success outside of school. Mr. Picard. Next up, we have Joanne Chen, who will be attending the University of Texas at Austin. She'll be majoring in marketing, and 3 words that she listed to describe herself are friendly, open-minded, and considerate. She brought with her, go ahead, sorry. She brought with her English teacher, Miss Christy Carden. She says, I want to express my appreciation for Mrs. Carden for all the nurturing care and knowledge she has instilled in me. She's not only allowed me to be a better student, but also helped me to grow and prosper as a person. Mrs. Carden is the epitome of optimism, strength, and intelligence, which are all qualities I hope to one day embody. She goes beyond just being my educator, but my most supportive companion. Mrs. Carden has caused me to widen my horizons and push me to strive for excellence in all that I do. Words cannot express the immense amount of gratitude I have for Mrs. Carden. I will always be thankful I had the privilege to get to know such an incredible person and have her be a part of my life. Ms. Carden. Next up, we have Garrett Darden, who will be attending Baylor University, and he'll be majoring in pre-med. The 3 words that describe Garrett are kind, dedicated, and intelligent. He brought with him Mandy Martin, his pre-AP English 1 teacher and his academic decathlon coach. He says about Miss Martin is one of the kindest teachers I've ever had. She made freshman pre-AP English one of the best English classes I've ever had and made every day an absolute blast. It's hard to forget making a movie of the Odyssey by Homer in my backyard, and none of her students will ever forget Hobo Day, which I'm gonna have to check out one day. Ms. Martin was not only an English teacher to me, but also my ACDET coach. For 2 years, she made my time on the team wonderful and memorable by treating me like one of her own kids and being a wonderful and caring person. Miss Mandy Martin. Next up, we have Hudson Fitzgerald. They'll be going to Texas A&M University. Had to pause for that. He'll be majoring in computer science, and the 3 words that describe him are honest, hardworking, and passionate. He brought with him his psychology teacher, Mr. Tanner Grimm, and he says Mr. Grimm embodies the ideal teacher. He's always able to make learning effective and enjoyable. Through dry humor, sarcasm, and great puns, Mr. Grimm has created an engaging environment for students to learn in a way you don't even realize you're learning because of how much you enjoy his class. Mr. Grimm. Next up is Chris Hudson, and he'll be attending Rice University, where he'll be majoring in political science. And the 3 words that best describe Chris are adventurous, affectionate, and determined. Chris Hudson. He brought with him his German teacher, Alejandro Terrazos, and he says, Mr. Terrazos has helped me continue learning about German language and culture every day. He brings an energy to the classroom that shows how passionate he is about his subject. His enthusiasm engages all of his students, and he has made me want to consider studying German at Rice. Mr. Terrazos. Next up, we have Isaac James, and he'll be attending the University of Texas at Austin and majoring in government. His 3 words to describe him are passionate, supportive, and persistent. Isaac James. He brought with him Miss Kristen Crocker, his TOK teacher, and he says about Miss Crocker that she embodies a powerful dedication to every student who enters her classroom. Miss Crocker's efforts to engage students in deep thought and reflection has defined my approach to learning. Her willingness to help her students in every way imaginable, from advice about college to assistance on school projects, has set her apart from every teacher I know. I'm so lucky to have known Miss Crocker as a teacher, role model, and friend. Miss Kristen Crocker. Next up, we have Cassie Kennemer from college, who will be attending Colorado College. And at this time, she's undecided, but possibly in the STEM field as her major. 3 words to describe her are diligent, inventive, and passionate. And she brought along with her Mr. Mike Rourke, who's her physics teacher. And about Mr. Rourke, she says, throughout my 2 years of physics at Arlington High, Mr. Rourke instilled a love for physical science in me that I will continue to pursue in college as I explore my career options. Mr. Rourke's passion for his students extends beyond academics, causing him to impact his students in a way that leads them to not only be better themselves, but to make an impact on the world around them. Additionally, his sense of humor always lightens the mood on some of the most stressful school days. Mr. Rourke's positive energy has inspired me to do everything in life with a certain enthusiasm that I did not have before I completed his class. Mr. Rourke. Next up, we have Hannah Lay, who will be attending Rice University and majoring in engineering. She lists 3 words to describe her as goofy, giving, and grateful. Miss Hannah Lay. She brought with her her pre-AP biology teacher, Miss Vadrana Conan, and says she has an engaging way of teaching us the material. When she first shared that she grew up in the Bosnian War and told us stories of how she transitioned to the U.S. in high school, I was touched by her perseverance. Not only does she give great advice, she's also one of the funniest people I've ever met. I'm inspired by her genuine consideration for her students, her passion for helping others. Miss Vadrana Conan. Next up, we have Kaylee Orr, who will be attending TCU, and she'll be majoring in mechanical engineering. And she's actually at orientation today, so on her behalf is her mom, Mrs. Orr. And Kaylee's 3 words that describe her are dedicated, tenacious, and loyal. And today she brought her soccer coach, Miss Andrea Scott. And this is what she had to say about Miss Scott. I've known Coach Scott since I was 10 years old. For the past 8 years, she has been there for me on and off the field. I'm beyond grateful for everything she has done for my family and me. She has pushed me mentally and physically as an athlete and has dedicated all her time to Lady Colts soccer program. She is the most selfless person I know and has helped shape me the person I am today. I'm so thankful to have such a great mentor and coach over the past 4 years. Coach Andrea Scott. Next up, we have Graham Schenk, and he will be attending Rhodes College and majoring in mathematics and economics. And his 3 words are hardworking, motivated, and analytical. Graham Schenk. He brought with him his BC calculus teacher, Mr. Charles Morrison. And about Mr. Morrison, he says, has been one of the best teachers of my senior year. For some kids, calculus is one of the most difficult subjects, but with Mr. Morrison, it becomes easy. He was not my calculus teacher. He opens up about his life outside of school to help not only teach us about calculus, but also life in general. Through his finance discussions and most of all his stake presentations, we learn math and life. Mr. Charles Morrison. Next up, we have Carla Silva, and she'll be attending the University of Texas at Arlington and majoring in biochemistry. 3 words to describe her are ambitious, dedicated, and a perfectionist. Miss Carla Silva. And she brought with her her tennis coach, Matthew McCleary. She said, I chose Coach McCleary because whenever I'm having a tough day, he always knows the right words to say and always does everything within his power to turn a smile to my face. With his continuous belief in me, he has helped me become more confident in my abilities as a student athlete and overall person. Coach Matt McCleary. And last but certainly not least, we have Ashley Simpson, who will be attending the University of Texas at Dallas. And at this time, she's undeclared in her major. But her 3 words to describe her are motivated, earnest, and conscientious. Miss Ashley Simpson. And she brought with her AP stats teacher, Mr. Gavin Kruger. And she says about him, there are many great teachers at Arlington High School, but it is his commitment to helping each one of his students succeed that truly sets Mr. Kruger apart. Throughout the 4 years I've been at Arlington High, he has done his best to help me with not only his own subjects, but also with calculus and the math portion of the PSAT. With his help, I was able to become a PSAT commended student and decide to minor in the subject that used to be my weakest, math. His caring personality, good sense of humor, enthusiasm, and passion for teaching make Mr. Kruger an incredibly educator and mentor. Thank you very much. That's the top 2% for Arlington High.
So at this time, we are going to bring our first student up here, Miss Emily Anderson. Emily plans on attending Brigham Young University to study in mathematics. Her 3 words are ambitious, team player, and optimistic. She's also our salutatorian this year. She has brought with her Miss Jennifer Clyburn, her her orchestra teacher. She says no other teacher has been a better mentor than Miss Clyburn. She has been there to motivate and encourage me, laugh at me, prank me, and transform me from a tiny 5th grader who could barely play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star into an accomplished musician. Though she is my director and practically lives in the walls of the orchestra room, her help extends beyond music. She's been there to see me dive into the bleachers at volleyball games, laugh as I desperately scribble calculus problems on the whiteboard, frantically seeking a solution, and guided me as I have made tough decisions that would determine my future. I will be forever grateful for the impact she's left on me as a student, athlete, person, musician, and most of all, a friend. Our next student is Krishma Burla, who plans on attending the University of Texas at Arlington to study finance. Her 3 words describe her are overachieving, dedicated, and passionate. She has brought with her Miss Denise Scott, who is her counselor. And what she says about Miss Scott is that she has positively impacted my high school experience by helping me cope through school and life. The next student I'd like to bring up is Jonathan Correa. Jonathan plans on attending the University of Texas at Arlington to study biomedical engineering. His 3 words are thoughtful, passionate, energetic, and he's also our valedictorian. He has brought with him Mr. Mark Alcorn, who is his International Baccalaureate math teacher. He says, Mr. Alcorn has not only been a teacher in my eyes, but a friend. He has always been someone who I can talk to and depend on at all times. Not only that, but he's also one of the best card players I've ever met. Mr. Alcorn and I share many personality traits and interests, which is why I think we've gotten along so well. It's been a privilege to have had him as my teacher. Our next student is Victoria Dionzungu. She plans on attending the University of Houston to study mathematical biology. Her 3 words are determined, kind-hearted, and sarcastic. She has brought with her Miss Teresa Sandoval, her IB and avid counselor. She said, Miss Sandoval became my counselor this year, and I didn't think I'd establish as close of a relationship as I did with her. She's been one of my biggest supporters throughout one of the most difficult years of my life. Through struggling with a lot of personal issues to dealing with the whole college process, Miss Sandoval was there helping me along the way. She was always there to remind me of the positive and was supporting me through days I'd be in her office crying my eyes out. I feel like I wouldn't have made the decisions I made this year if it wasn't for her. And I'm so thankful that I was able to have her as a counselor as she helped me get through one of the hardest years of my life. The next student is Lam Doe. Plans on attending the UT Arlington to study computer science and engineering. The 3 words he used to describe himself are intelligent, laid back, and reserved. He has brought with him Cliven Celestine, his 8th grade math teacher from Workman Junior High. He states that he was an excellent teacher and the material that he taught helped me throughout high school. Our next student is Gwyneth Douglas, who plans on attending UT Austin to study software engineering. She describes herself as outgoing, kind, and lazy. She has brought with her Jennifer Reese, her AP computer science teacher from Seguin High School. She says that she's a really great teacher. She always gives me feedback on my work, and she has a good sense of humor. She always lets me know when I'm doing well in her class, and I really appreciate that about her. The next student we have is Mr. Andy Ho. He plans on attending the University of Texas at Arlington to study mechanical engineering. The 3 words he used are determined, individual, and ambitious. He has brought with him Miss Brooke Dolberry, his swim coach. And he says, I chose Coach Dolberry because of her huge impact on my academic and athletic careers and my life as a whole. I owe a lot to her for helping me achieve my accomplishments on the swim team and in my studies, some of which include putting me up for scholarships and awards of recognition, pushing me to be the best swimmer I could be, and giving me guidance on what really matters to my path to success. I thank her for being there for me inside and outside of the pool. Our next student is Kayla Lee, who plans on attending UTA to study biochemistry. She describes herself as positive, generous, and well-rounded. She has brought with her her International Baccalaureate teacher, Miss Stephanie Rudy Girolamo. She's made a big impact in my high school career. Throughout the last semester of junior year and final semester of senior year, I learned to look at other perspectives and try to understand them. In her class, thanks to her, I came to realize a lot of things about myself. She may have been one of my teachers, but I felt like she was really helpful with giving me advice for the real world as well. Also, besides the fact that she's a great teacher, she's a very kind and understanding person as well. Our next student is Ann Nguyen, who plans on attending UNT to study biomedical engineering, and she describes herself as giggly, independent, and short. She has brought with her Miss Susan Schwartz, her AP statistics teacher. She says Miss Schwartz makes class funny while still being an amazing teacher. She makes learning fun and pushes me to do the best that I can. Our next student is Miss Lynn Nguyen, who plans on attending the University of Texas at Arlington to study biology. She describes herself as empathetic, diligent, and responsible. She brought with her today our IB coordinator, Miss Amy Hayes. And she says about Miss Hayes that I chose her because of her optimistic and caring nature. Regardless of how she's doing or feeling, Miss Hayes never fails to smile and spread her positivity to everyone she encounters. As a result, she has inspired me to always be the best I can be. Ms. Hayes is also incredibly understanding, and the support I have received from her for the past 2 years is something I will always be grateful for. As I finish my last year of IB, I hope Ms. Hayes will continue to receive the recognition she deserves for all the work she has done for her IB students. Our next student is Tien Pham, who plans on attending the University of Texas at Arlington to study biochemistry. He describes himself as analytical, candid, and reflective. He has brought with him today Ms. Shallon Griggs, his IB English teacher. He says about Ms. Griggs, "She taught me to be more confident in my literary skills while helping me along the way, and her class allowed me to be more open and expressive than before." Our next student is Ms. Stephanie Tran, who plans on attending the University of Texas at Arlington to study biochemistry. She describes herself as sarcastic, caring, and compassionate. She has brought with her Mr. Todd Watkins, science and soccer. And she says, "Without a doubt, I have decided to take Mr. Todd Watkins. I've known Mr. Watkins for 3 years. He was my teacher for 2 years in the Project Lead the Way biomedical science program and advisor of science team. Mr. Watkins can seem emotionless and intimidating at times, but to me, he is like my second dad. He is one of the most She says, "He is one of the most hardworking teachers I've met, if not the most. He takes on great accounts of responsibility and has demonstrated integrity and devotion to his job as a teacher and a coach. His limited Spanish skills, proud Irish culture, unexpected love toward Korean dramas, and aversion toward hugs are just some of the ways I can describe him. From the times in class where we laughed about alternative home remedies suggested by our families, like VapoRub, to getting serious and buckling down for our EOCs. I'm absolutely honored to say that I've met Mr. Watkins, and he is someone that I look up to." Our next student is Mr. Brian Trong, who plans on attending the University of Texas at Arlington to study computer science, and he describes himself as tenacious, passionate, and ambitious. He has brought with him his AP chemistry teacher, Miss Yvonne Torres. He said, "The reason why I chose Miss Torres is because she is someone I can call a role model. Miss Torres lives her life with high morals and the role of guiding the next generation. Teachers like Miss Torres sacrifice so much for her students. She was the teacher that would come in from 6 in the morning to 6 p.m. to make sure that one student who was behind the rest was relieved from their stress. All she wants is to educate the future towards the right way. Ms. Torres displays finesse and excellence, not through words, but through actions. I believe that Ms. Torres represents what it means to be virtuous in a world filled with evil. Throughout the days I spent in her classroom, I felt her guidance the whole way. I never stressed about grades because she was a teacher that only wanted to pass on her knowledge to her students, such as me. I chose Ms. Torres because I believe she is someone who deserves the world." Our next student is Andy Vu, who plans on attending the University of Texas at Arlington to study computer science. He describes himself as persistent, worker, and goals. He has brought with him Miss Marzi Hinkle, his AP calculus teacher. He says, "I've chosen Miss Hinkle because she is one of the few instructors in my academic lifetime that has genuinely cared for the education of her students. Every time I walked into her classroom, I feel very comfortable knowing that I did not have to stress over my grades or performance. Rather, I purely focused on learning the material at hand. That is what all teachers should strive for."
I want to thank the parents too. As a parent myself, it is a long journey and it starts right from the beginning to get to here. And it's wonderful to be able to look back and to realize that all of the little moments that you had with your kids all add up to something much bigger. So congratulations, parents. I hope that you're enjoying this event as well. Our first student today is Ms. Margaret Uggan. She will be attending Case Western Reserve University, studying actuarial science. She describes herself with 3 words as passionate, friendly, and nerdy. Margaret chose Coach Gordon Stevens, her BC Calculus and teacher and wrestling coach. She chose Coach Stevens because he has put up with me all 4 years of high school. During my senior year, he was my BC Calculus teacher. He's taught me numerous lessons about life and calculus, which I will use later in my career. He was the one who introduced me to the field of actuarial science. He's always been a good role model and always has a smile on his face. I will always remember his laugh. Margaret Uggan and Coach Stevens. Lucas Ataidi. Lucas will be attending Rice, studying computer science. He describes himself as gritty, lighthearted, and ambitious. He selected Miss Rebecca Archer, his academic decathlon teacher. Mrs. Archer has been my favorite teacher since sophomore year. She's always had a passion for education and is 100% committed to her students. She is by far the most impactful teacher I've had at Lamar. Lucas and Miss Archer. Tamano Hajahanova. Tamano will be attending Dallas Baptist University, studying entrepreneurship and accounting. She describes herself as generous, creative, and determined. Tamano selected Kevin Knierim, who is currently teaching at the Career and Tech Center. She had him for entrepreneurship. She says, Mr. Knierim has been a huge influence in my life. Meeting him my sophomore year completely changed my perspective on life and high school. He's helped me become a leader and be able to effectively communicate with others. With his guidance, I was able to become a regional officer for Future Business Leaders of America and compete at national events. He's taught me to always think out of the box and that the most important thing of life is leaving a positive impact on others. Tamano and Mr. Knierim. Wei Shen Huang will attend the University of Texas at Dallas, and he will study biology. He describes himself as funny, chill, and easygoing. He selected Mr. Joseph Teague, his pre-AP Algebra 2 teacher. Because of his amazing sense of humor, being in his class taught me how to learn and have fun at the same time. Going to his classroom has always made my day brighter, and he is someone I see as both a teacher and friend. Wei Shen, Mr. Teague. Miss Helen Halsey will attend the University of Texas at Austin and study advertising. She describes herself as creative, open-minded, and driven. She selected Mr. Robert Wolf, her AP Econ and AP Government teacher. Mr. Wolf is one of the rare teachers who genuinely cares about the material he teaches and his students. His desire for us to do well has been a huge motivation for me to push myself, which is saying a lot as a senior in May. Anyone who has met Mr. Wolf can agree that it's hard to be in a bad mood around him. Fourth period is a lot to handle, but we all appreciate his patience and effort. Even though he's an Aggie, I'll remember him as one of my favorite teachers from my high school career. Well said, Miss Halsey. Mr. Andrew Kahn, who is also our valedictorian. Andrew will attend the University of Texas at Austin, studying neuroscience and BSA, which I'm not sure exactly what that means. It's a mystery. He's detail-oriented, political, and empathetic. He selected Miss Tara Bishop, his AP biology teacher. In typical succinct fashion, Andrew says, she knows how teaching with a personality can fuel academic thought. Right on. Andrew and Ms. Bishop. Ms. Haley Lehue will attend Texas A&M University and study business. She's open-minded, has initiative, is easygoing. She selected Ms. Jana Hammonds, her soccer coach. I chose this teacher because she's a light in my life that always encourages and motivates me. As a soccer coach, she keeps a positive attitude that keeps me going and pushes me every day, and I'm really appreciative of that. Haley and Ms. Hammonds. Courtney McDonald will attend the University of Texas at Austin and study advertising. She describes herself as motivated, trustworthy, and competitive. Courtney selected Mr. Justin Daniel, her 7th grade history teacher at Shackelford Junior High. And once again, in typical fashion, Courtney says, he always encourages me to be the best version of myself, period. Michael Wynn will attend the University of Texas at Arlington and study biology. He describes himself as passionate, humorous, and caring. He selected Coach Jarrett Howell, his varsity basketball coach. I chose this teacher because he has been so much more than just a teacher and coach. He's been like a second father figure at school and has inspired me to be the best man I can be. It is because of Coach Howell that I stayed in the basketball program and strive to be a model student athlete. Michael and Coach Howell. Shivesh Shurya will attend UCLA and study biology. He describes himself as intuitive, creative and resourceful, and caring. He selected Ms. Bhupinder Mangat, his AP Physics 1 and 2 teacher. Ms. Mangat not only pushes her students, but also her peers to excel and be their best selves. She is a great listener, making her the ideal person to talk to when you're feeling down. She also gives the best life advice. She is a very caring and loving person and portrays a motherly figure at school. She knows how to respect her students and can be the sweet yet sassy teacher who uses sarcastic comments and witty jokes to gain the attention of her students, and yet she maintains a professional atmosphere in the classroom. Having known her for 2 years now, I believe I've formed a strong personal connection with her, parentheses, literally the best person in the world. She makes school feel like my home away from home. Shivesh, Ms. Mangat. Preston Taylor will attend Baylor University and study business, accounting, and management. He describes himself as easygoing, athletic, and amicable. Preston selected Miss Tony Worley, his choir teacher. I've been in her choir for 4 years, and throughout this time, she's helped me grow, not only as a singer, but as a person. She's like another, okay, now Preston wrote grandmother, but I'm going to say mother. She's like another mother to all of her students, whom she loves like her own. Mom, let's work on that. Preston and Miss Worley. Julie Trin will attend the University of Texas at Arlington and study biology. Julie describes herself as diligent, humble, and intuitive. She selected Miss Raylene Scott, her AP English teacher. I chose Miss Scott because she has been exceedingly encouraging and caring throughout the entire year beyond academics. She takes the time to learn about each of her students individually and treats us as more than just students. She never fails to make me laugh with her blunt humor, and though her class is uniquely challenging, there is no class I look forward to going to more. Julie, and Miss Scott. Jesse Webb. Jesse will attend the University of Texas at Arlington, studying computer science. He describes himself as funny, quirky, and creative. Jesse selected Dr. Gregory Cartwright, his audio, video, and IB film teacher. This man has been a big influence on me for the last 2 years. He introduced me to the world of video editing. Throughout my time in his classes, he introduced me to a new career path by pushing me to do animation. He never derailed me and encourages everyone who comes through his classroom. He pushes the Berserker crew to new heights and encourages us throughout our episodes, our struggles, and the hate we receive. He's a fantastic teacher that I consider to be one of the greatest teachers I've had. Jesse and Dr. Cartwright. And last but not least, Karen Yang, who is our salutatorian. Karen will attend Princeton and study molecular biology. She describes herself as motivated, hardworking, and compassionate. She selected Mr. Kim Win, her AP chemistry teacher. I chose this teacher because he deeply cares about his students even beyond the classroom. He works hard to meet his high expectations for himself, and his passion for education can be felt by everybody. I'm extremely lucky to have had him as a teacher. Karen and Mr. Wynn. Thank you.
We'll start with Lindsay Birmingham. Lindsay plans to attend Baylor University. Biology is her major. She describes herself as dedicated, positive, and friendly. She brought with her today AP Biology teacher Brian Crawford. Lindsay says about Mr. Crawford, he's a really great teacher and always makes sure that everyone is learning in class. Next is Matthew Doan. He plans to attend UTA, be an aerospace engineer. He describes himself as energetic, hardworking, and adventurous. He brought with him today Miss Rachel Peterson, who's his AP psychology teacher. He describes her by saying, she is always willing to help me in class, whether it be over course material or anything that may be going on in my life. She may be a teacher, but I also see her as my friend. Miss Peterson cares about my well-being and always makes sure that I'm okay. I have her first period when I come in very tired, but her class quickly wakes me up and puts a smile on my face. Next, Nicholas Jennings. He plans to attend UTA, wants to be an electrical engineer. He describes himself as hardworking, funny, and reliable. He brought with him today Jamie Ovali, which is his orchestra teacher. He describes Miss Ovali, I've had her my entire high school career. I've dedicated time and effort to the classes Miss Ovali teaches, and she reciprocates with a huge passion in every song that we perform. Nicholas Jennings. Kate Johnson plans to attend Texas A&M University. She's planning to go into the biomedical sciences. She describes herself as hardworking, dedicated, and compassionate. I'd also like to recognize Kate's father, who's also with us today, Chief of Police Will Johnson. And he's been a big teacher, and her teacher that she brought with her, Miss Kristen Session Brown, who is her cheerleading sponsor. She says this, SB is a caring and honest role model that we all look up to. Her sweet smile and genuine personality makes her unlike any other. She makes my day every day. Kate Johnson. Yu-Sung Lee plans to attend University of Texas at Austin, wants to be a civil engineer. He describes himself as carefree, weird, and nerdy. He brought with him today Derek Moore, his varsity tennis and AP Stat teacher. He describes Mr. Moore saying, "He has always helped me grow and encouraged me to always be my very best." Yoon Sung Lee. Our next student could not be here today, Olson Least, but he plans to attend Texas A&M, wants to be a computer scientist, is reserved, calm, and thoughtful. He brought with him, except he's not here, but his teacher, Marianne Varner. She is his geometry and algebra teacher. He says, "Miss Varner inspired my love for mathematics, opened my eyes to its wide applications, and instilled in me a love for learning." Olson Least. Next, Abigail Mixon. Abigail plans to attend UT Austin. She would like to be an electrical engineer. She describes herself as quiet, determined, and smart. Her teacher, Miss Tanja Lewis, is her AP English teacher. She says, "Miss Lewis taught English really well." That's the part of her that's quiet. Next is our salutatorian, Luke Overman. He plans to attend the University of Texas at Arlington, major in physics and mathematics. He describes himself as tall, decently funny, and determined. He brought with him his teacher, AP Physics teacher, Jay Atman. He describes Mr. Atman as, "He's shown me unending support in both my personal growth and academic career. He's taught me how to think. Without his guidance and fantastic teaching, I would not have found a passion in the natural world and how it behaves. I'm forever grateful for him and many of my achievements I've had and will receive. I can confidently attribute this to his influence." By the way, just a side note, Luke Overman won UIL Science Award for the state of Texas. And that would be in physics. Next is Daniel Powell. Daniel plans to attend UT Austin. His major is biology. He wants to get a doctorate in physical therapy. He's dedicated, hardworking, and outgoing. He brought with him Corey Davis, his human body systems teacher. He says, "Ms. Davis goes out of her way to form personal relationships with her students. She is dedicated to ensuring that her students receive the best educational experience available." Now, Brock Moore. He plans to attend University of Texas at Austin. He's a computer science major. He's tenacious, intelligent, and charismatic. Brought with him teacher James Hovey. He says, I love Mr. Hovey's class. He is responsible for my passion for computer science." Abram Q is going to attend Rice University. He plans to major in bioengineering. He says he is decisive, loyal, and quick thinking. He brought with him teacher Michelle Davda, his biomedical science teacher. He says, "Ms. Davda has guided me throughout my 4 years here at Martin High School to grow to be a kinder, more responsible person." Abram Q. Next is our valedictorian, Peyton Riney. Peyton plans to attend Texas A&M. Her major is in biomedical science. She describes herself as dedicated, hardworking, and focused. She brought with her today Mark Blanchard. He's her ACDEC coach. She says of Mr. Blanchard, he always talks to the students in a more personal way and makes everyone in the class feel important by finding something in common with each one of them. Peyton Riney. Next is Rylan Siegenthaler. Rylan plans to attend the University of Texas at Austin with a biology major. She describes herself as motivated, conscientious, and friendly. She brought with her today Carolyn Powers, who is her student council leadership teacher. She says of Ms. Powers, she has been very influential over my high school career. She taught me how to be a leader in my school and community and how to be successful in whatever I do. Rylan Siegenthaler. Tatum Tran plans to attend UT Austin, biology major. She describes herself as dedicated, compassionate, and positive. She brought with her today Ms. Carla Parks, which is her Key Club sponsor. She says, Ms. Parks has been more than a teacher to me because she's been a major influence on how I've developed as a student, leader, and individual. She makes me look forward to coming to school. She inspires me to be the best person I possibly can. Ms. Parks is someone who I can always count on. I'm so blessed to have been able to be her student. Tatum Tran. Next is Madison Wilbanks. Madison plans to go to the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. That's still pending acceptance. She is a biochemistry major. She describes herself as determined, curious, and generous. She brought with her today Miss Lauren Henson, who is her digital design and media production teacher. She says, Miss Henson has been my teacher for 3 years, has always been encouraging to me and loving. She's been a true joy to have as a teacher. Madison Wilbanks. Next is Grace Wright. Grace plans to attend Tulane University, major in the area of neuroscience. She describes herself as ambitious, diligent, and kind-hearted. She brought with her today her theater teacher, Jordan Chambers. She says of Mr. Chambers, although he only came to Martin my junior year, he's been a large part of my high school experience. He taught me the importance of going after what you want, as well as showing me how to be kind in all aspects of my life. Mr. Chambers always has a smile on his face, is always cracking jokes. However, he knows when it's time to focus and put it together to have a good show. He is one of those people that I will remember forever. Grace Wright. Lucy Sin. Lucy plans to attend Cornell University. So far, she's undecided in regards to her major. She's nice. She describes herself as nice, quiet, and hardworking. She brought with her today her pre-AP pre-cal teacher, Linda Summerholder. She describes Ms. Summerholder as someone who helped me with pre-cal whenever I needed help. She's always there and ready to help you. Lucy Sin.
All right, we have 16 in the top 2%, class of 798. So first, we have Deasia Barner. She will be attending Cornell University, where she will be studying English and pre-law. She describes herself as comical, ambitious, and dazzling. The teacher she chose to recognize today is David Pellerin. Mr. Pellerin is like any other teacher I've ever come across. His extreme sarcasm and comical mannerisms have a way of always brightening my day. Myself and my fellow peer admired this unique quality about him so much that we used him as the star of a film we made, The Unteacher. It was a long process, but his positive attitude and encouragement along the way made it all worth it. His class is a place where I can go when I'm feeling my lowest because he always has a way of changing my perspective on things. Although we've both reached the conclusion that I have a bright future in anything besides film, I think Mr. Pellerin was right on the money when he decided to become a teacher. I'm so privileged to have had him as an opportunity to learn from this kind, genuine, funny, and original person like Mr. Pellerin. Next is Jacob Dollar. He will be attending Texas Wesleyan University and majoring in business and accounting. He described himself as hardworking, dedicated, and smart. Jacob is recognizing Coach Jacob Smith, head varsity football coach for offense. He describes Mr. Smith as always supported me and encouraged me to do my best, even when I was a young athlete and struggling. He taught me how to work hard even when facing challenging situations and to persevere through the pain. I will never forget the opportunity he gave me in high school and the lessons he taught me throughout my high school football career. Jacob Dollar and Coach Smith. Next, we have Heidi Estrada. She's our valedictorian. She will be attending George Washington University, studying international affairs. She describes herself as tenacious, diligent, and humble. She wants to recognize Miss Sandy O'Brien today, her avid 11th grade teacher. Miss O'Brien has been my cheerleader for the past 2 years, celebrating every one of my successes, no matter how big or small. She has also always provided me with advice and assistance. During the college application season, she would constantly stay after school with me to edit my essays, even as late as 7 p.m. Furthermore, Ms. O'Brien instilled the confidence and courage in me to step out of my realm of comfort and follow my dream of studying politics in the heart of our nation in Washington, D.C. Heidi Estrada and Ms. O'Brien. Next, we have Jacqueline Laura. She will be attending University of Texas at Austin. She's going to be a biology major. She described herself as a free spirit, faithful, and inspired. And Ms. Mulata. Jacqueline is recognizing Jennifer Kopetsky, her IB mathematics teacher in both 11th and 12th grade. Ms. Kopetsky was born to be an educator. She possesses all the great qualities. She makes math fun, yet still challenging. I'm inspired by her passion, diligence, and dedication to her students. Plus, I knew she was my twin when she started making sound effects when reducing fractions in a math problem. Once a Texan, always a Texan. Thank you, Ms. Kopetsky, for believing in me and teaching me something new every day. Ms. Lada and Ms. Kopetsky. Next is Tracy Long. She will be attending Texas A&M University at College Station, studying biology major. She described herself as being positive, energetic, and smart. She's recognizing today Jennifer Metter, her AP Environment and Science teacher. Ms. Metter. Ms. Metter gives her spare time to think about how she wants to teach the material to class, and I admire her passion she directs at students. Ms. Metter gives the extra mile to make sure her students are comfortable and happy. Ms. Tracy Long and Ms. Jennifer Metter. Next, we have Angelica Magnuson. She will be attending University of Texas at Arlington studying computer science. She describes herself as being adventurous, clumsy, and shy. She's recognizing today Jacqueline Navarro. Ms. Navarro is an AP Spanish language and culture teacher. I chose Ms. Navarro because she goes beyond her duties to aid her students. While most teachers I observe refrain from engaging into personal life of their students, Ms. Navarro displays another level of dedication. Her efforts transcend beyond the typical instructional role. Instead, her actions evoke profound influence and inspiration among her ambitious students. Ms. Navarro, through her compassionate nature, has encouraged me to develop my confidence in my abilities, value my well-being, and be relentless in my search for a brighter, prosperous future. Ms. Magnuson and Ms. Navarro. Next, we have Don Nguyen. He'll be attending UTA, studying mathematics. He describes himself as being confident, cooperative, and sociable. Don is recognizing Coach Matt Conlon, his tennis coach. Coach Conlon has been my coach since freshman year. He has been an extension of a guardian, someone I can get advice from on and off the courts. The 4 years that Coach Conlon has been my coach, he has pushed me to be the best I can be. He sets a standard that pushes not only me, but my teammates to succeed. He has seen through all my victories and defeats, and through these defeats, he's taught me something new about it every time. I want to thank him for all his hard work. The whole team appreciates him greatly. Mr. Nguyen and Mr. Conlon. Next, we have Kwa Nguyen. He'll be attending the University of Texas at Arlington, studying math. He describes himself as being creative, innovative, and dedicated. He is recognizing today Coach Minaj Jacob, his tennis coach. And I chose Coach Jacob because he has taught me important things about life lessons. For instance, he taught me how to stay dedicated and committed to a passion if I want to see progress. Mr. Nguyen and Mr. Jacob. Next, we have Lena Nguyen. She'll be attending the University of Texas at Arlington, studying nursing. She describes herself as being passionate, hardworking, and optimistic. She is recognizing today Jillian Adams, her band, mariachi, and color guard teacher. Ms. Adams has helped me become the person I am today. She introduced me to guard and always believed in me, even when I had trouble believing in myself. She helped me realize that trying new things should be exciting and not something you fear. Before I came to SAM, I was very quiet and reserved. Thanks to her and this program, I've learned to open up and become more bold. She was always there to push me to strive and never give up. Thank you, Mrs. Adams, for all that you do. Whatever the future holds, I will always cherish you and our time together. Ms. Nguyen and Ms. Adams. Next, we have Tracy Nguyen, who will be attending the University of Texas at Arlington, studying biology. The 3 words that describe her are meticulous, quiet, and warm-hearted. She is recognizing today Esther Guillo, who is an IB Spanish teacher. Ms. Guillo taught me to be more confident when I speak in front of a group and constantly reminded me to be louder. I learned the value of hard work while I continue to challenge myself every day because she believes that I will accomplish great things. Therefore, I am grateful to have her as my Spanish teacher for almost 2 years. I will remember what she taught me through college and my future career. Thank you, Ms. Guillo. Ms. Nguyen, Ms. Guillo. Next is Kevin Fan. He'll be attending UTA, studying biochemistry. Kevin describes himself as being hardworking, honest, and enjoyable. He was recognizing today Armando Talamantes, his avid 12th grade teacher. Mr. Talamantes is a person who has worked hard to help me get scholarships as well as do everything that he could do to help me get financial aid. He's also gave me the knowledge to attend and apply to college. Thank you, Mr. Talamantes. Mr. Fan and Mr. Talamantes. Next is Luis Roa Santoyo. He will be attending the University of Texas at Austin, studying government and planning, and enrolled in the Honors College. He describes himself as being resilient, exuberant, and hopeful. He is recognizing today Veronica Gallona, his avid 10th grade teacher. Ms. Gallona always pushed me toward greatness. Doubts and fears aside, Ms. Gallona has constantly reassured me that my hard work will pay off, and it has. Mrs. Gallona is an example as to what a teacher should be, and she managed to go above and beyond for all her students, no matter what the circumstances. I owe much of my success and a lot of snacks to her. Thank you, Ms. Gallona and Mr. Roa. Next is Arnold Sanchez. He'll be attending UT at Arlington, studying education. He describes himself as being humorous, thankful, and lucky. Arnold is recognizing Denise Newsom, his IB biology teacher. Ms. Newsom is not afraid to teach in new ways suitable to her students. She also teaches in ways that connect not only intellectually with the students, but in a way that the classroom feels like family and comfortable. Mr. Sanchez and Ms. Newsom. Next is Teresa Ta. She'll be attending the University of Texas at Arlington studying nursing. She describes herself as being caring, optimistic, and responsible. Teresa is recognizing today Ms. Coach Rhonda Sherrill, her cheerleading coach. Coach Sherrill has been the greatest role model for me ever since I met her. She has never failed to make me feel comfortable, as well as the other students. She makes us laugh. All the time we spend together during any event. She always reminds me of myself, always trying to make jokes, and always a goofball. I love Coach Sherrill, and I couldn't be happier to have her here with me today. Coach Sherrill, please come. Next is Aaron Trin. He'll be attending University of Texas at Arlington. He will be studying computer science. He describes himself as being friendly, intelligent, and hardworking. Aaron chose to recognize Carlos Johnson, currently a counselor at Workman Junior High. But Mr. Johnson was his 9th grade world geography teacher, and he made that year very interesting. He had an unorthodox teaching method compared to a normal teacher, but this made him stand out from all the other teachers in my 9th grade year. Most days in his class always had some sort of surprise. He really could catch you off guard, made this class really enjoyable. He was very relatable to the class and kept the class engaged during the lessons. Overall, he is one of my favorite teachers throughout the years. Mr. Trin and Mr. Johnson. And finally, Ms. Linda Vu, our salutatorian. She'll be attending TCU studying biology. She described herself as being honest, driven, and sarcastic. Linda is recognizing Mr. Pedro Cavazos, freshman assistant principal. I believe that Mr. Cavazos is one of the most genuine people that I'm blessed to have in my life. Even though he did not know me, he lended me a helping hand when I was going through a difficult part of my life. Till this day, he still checks up on me to make sure that I'm doing okay, something he doesn't have to do, but still goes the extra mile to do so. Although I'm not a perfect student with a flawless resume, Mr. Cavazos is one of the reasons that have kept me going with school and life. Because of him, I realize that there are kind people that care for others. I strive to be as positive as him for myself and the people that I cherish around me as I keep going towards my path of becoming a physician assistant. Ms. Vu and Mr. Cavazos.
So we will get started with, last but definitely not least, Seguin High School's top 2%. First, we have Fong Do, who will be going to UT Arlington to study biological chemistry. She describes herself as ambitious, compassionate, and humble. She has chosen to recognize Cheryl Spear, her 11th grade English teacher at Seguin High School, and says about Ms. Spear, she is very encouraging and supportive of me in class. She helps me prepare for my AP exams to correct my grammar, as well as written recommendation letters. Although I was not in her class this year, she has continued to help me with college applications, essays, and personal growth. Ms. Spear and Ms. Doe. Next, we have Timothy Huang, who will be attending Georgia Tech for electrical engineering and describes himself as witty, intuitive, and exuberant. Timothy will be recognizing Mr. William Bryan, his geometry 8th grade teacher from Seguin High School, and he describes Mr. Bryan as, I've worked with him in UIL math since 8th grade. As a result, he has played a key role in advancing my interest in math and helping me discover my passion for it. Mr. Bryan and Mr. Huang. Next, we'll be recognizing our valedictorian, Brittany Long, who will be attending University of Texas at Austin, Hookham, and she will be studying art. She describes herself as determined, passionate, and hardworking. She has chosen to recognize her 10th grade art teacher, Gail Roberson, from Seguin High School. She says of Miss Roberson that she has supported her in her dream of becoming an artist by giving her a constructive criticism and showing her how to improve to become better in the future. Miss Long and Miss Roberson. Next, we have Tina Nguyen, who will also be attending the University of Texas at Austin, Hookham, studying neuroscience. She describes herself as a new word I've never seen. The smart kids get you like that. They're like, you just dropped that on me? I don't know what that is. I should have prepared. Ambivert. I'm going to need a description of that after this. Ambivert, inquisitive, and friendly. Let's give her a round of applause. She has chosen to recognize Richard Dickerson, her 11th grade physics teacher from Seguin High School. Hey, buddy. You know what that word means? You know what that word means? No. He says, I teach physics, not English. She says of Mr. Dickerson that he is someone that I can always go to and discuss academics as well as personal life. He always puts his faith in me and believes in my future. Mrs. Nguyen and Mr. Dickerson. Next, we have our salutatorian, Brianna Syed, who will be attending TCU and studying neuroscience. She describes herself as ambitious, confident, and inquisitive. Brianna has chosen to recognize Shanna Healer, who is her 7th grade English teacher at Bailey Junior High. She says she always believed in me and consistently pushed me to reach my full potential. Miss Healer and Mrs. Syed. Next, we have Kang Tran, who will be attending UT Arlington for mechanical engineering and describes himself as persistent, adventurous, and considerate. He's chosen to recognize Alex Wiedemann, his 9th grade swimming coach from Seguin High School. He says of Mr. Wiedemann that we usually have swim practice at 5:30 a.m., but he always pushes me to work as hard as I can to better myself in everything I do. This has helped me become closer in achieving my full potential. Mr. Wiedemann and Mr. Tran. Next, we have Torin Turner, who will be attending the University of Texas at Dallas to study biomedical engineering, and describes himself as hardworking, kind, and smart. He has chosen to recognize his 11th grade AP World History teacher, Mandy Crowder, who is also a teacher at Seguin High School. He says, Ms. Crowder has encouraged me to continue pursuing history courses, and she is a great teacher. She has sacrificed time after school, and I like the way she teaches. Congratulations, Ms. Crowder and Mr. Turner. And last but certainly not least, we will be recognizing Ben Vu, who will be attending the University of Dallas studying biology and uses passionate, confident, and hardworking to describe himself. He's chosen to recognize Michael Prescott, his 11th grade AP US History teacher from Seguin High School. Ben says Mr. Prescott is super passionate, and you can tell that he cares about his students' future by the way he teaches, interacts, and talks with them. Seeing him this year and the amount of weight he has lost just pushes me more to better myself every day. Amen to that, brother. Congratulations, Seguin High School and the awesome teachers.
Thank you all again for coming today. One more time, congratulations to those outstanding students and teachers. I would also like to thank the Communications Department, Leslie Johnston, Spence, Mackenzie Stokes, Anthony Andro, Rita Johnson, and Ryan Pierce for all of their help planning and working for this event. It takes a lot to get this all put together, so thank you all so much. And that concludes our program. Thank you all for coming.